Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaRevelis and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link down in the description to the page, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. My name is Joshua Revelis. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down with fellow enthusiasts to talk about what's going on in the technology, business, and gaming world. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Revelis. I am your host as usual. And welcome back to the show. Today's the Friday episode as usual. And obviously you guys voted for the topic. We're going to be talking about Pokemon. Obviously when we're talking about Pokemon, we're going to be talking about Sword and Shield. But at the same time, I didn't want to do this one alone because I'm like, well, I wouldn't say in comparison, I don't have that much experience with Pokemon. But I think it's better to have somebody else that at least is a fan of the series as well to come talk. So I decided to actually get my friend Gilberto to come on. So yeah, Gilberto, why don't you say hi?
Everyone.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself, Gilberto?
Well, with my Pokemon background, I've been a fan since, I was 6 years old with the anime, like everyone else of our generation.
Pretty much.
And, my first Pokemon game was actually Pokemon X and Y.
I think probably a lot of people hate you for that right now.
Hey, no, that was the first game I actually owned. Because actually, I did play it on Emerald, back when my GBA, but that was my friends.
Yeah.
But skip through, put Pro and Diamond Pro in Black and White. And I kept back on X and Y because that's when Pokemon actually got cool again.
Yeah, I actually didn't even skip one. I think the one that I started playing for sure, if I was correct, I think I started playing with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I did play Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. I played those. I played Emerald in them when I was younger. I actually, when I still had my Game Boy SP, I played Fire Red. I never played the actual originals. I know my friend Mark did. And then obviously I kept playing everyone. I played Black and White. I played Black and White 2. Obviously I played X and Y. I played Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and then obviously we went into Sun and Moon, and then I had Ultra Sun and Moon, and now we're going to Sword and Shield. Obviously, I think it's going to be an interesting topic, especially because I think we're mainly just going to be talking about the state of Pokemon at this point, because there's a lot going on, clearly. I know that this is the, 9th generation of Pokemon already? 9th gen?
The 8th.
Oh, 8th, my bad. So, yeah, because I forgot Ultra Sun and Moon, they still count as 7th. So, we're in the 8th generation of Pokemon. That means 8 generations of Pokemon games. And so this has obviously been a series that's been going on for a long time, clearly. This is very...
22, right? Be 22.
No, actually, the game came out in...
1996.
Yeah, it was 96. So, the game's been since around, 96. So
23 years, actually.
23 years. The game's, 23 years, 2-decade game series. Over, I don't know how many millions of dollars in revenue and everything.
Billions, man.
Billions. Yeah, let's be honest. It's probably billions. But there's interesting things going on. Obviously, anybody that's in a know of Pokemon knows that, originally the game was just meant as a game to capture Pokemon. Essentially, it was just, there was nothing special about it. It was just, well, I wouldn't say special, but it was the first way to introduce American audiences to an RPG or a JRPG, essentially. It's what a lot of people consider the original JRPG to some people.
Well, maybe you're expecting on Final Fantasy.
Yeah. The Final Fantasy people, they're going to come at me. Don't at me with that one, but I'm not saying that's what I believe, but at least towards the American audience, that's what they felt that way. But
no, that's I can say that Pokemon, introduced JRPGs to the mainstream, but
Yeah, I think for sure it did, and obviously, because as much as people like Final Fantasy VII and things like that, it still wasn't really mainstream, obviously. Well, I wouldn't say it wasn't mainstream, but I think Pokemon definitely is what helped it to be better, I think. And I think that's pretty obvious, especially when we look at things like the sales numbers and everything, but obviously Pokemon has gone way beyond what it originally was. Obviously, there's the competitive scene and everything with competitive battling. You know, it spawned a lot of YouTubers that are very popular, like the Shady Penguin, other individuals that, you know, we sadly can't mention anymore because of charges with pedophilia, so we're not allowed to mention them really. But even though, yeah, they still like...
Jay Wiz, the biggest one.
Well, Jay Wiz, everybody knows Jay Wiz, but he doesn't do anything bad. Like, he's just the... Well...
No, that's why he's the biggest PokeTuber. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what... I think, yeah, Jay Wiz is pretty much the biggest Pokemon tuber because in terms of record, he probably has the cleanest record out of everyone besides Shady. But everybody loves Shady because they think they call him the Jesus of the Pokemon community because he doesn't do anything. Just a nice guy. But Pokemon's gone big. We talk about competitive. It's gone to card games and everything. The card games huge. The TCG, obviously pretty huge, clearly. Like, you have the TCG, you have the Pokemon, the games themselves, the competitive leagues for the games. Obviously, you have all these channels doing Let's Plays about ROMs and things like that. Obviously, Nintendo hates them. But it expanded a lot more than what it originally was. Obviously, with going into Sword and Shield, you know, there's a lot of controversy. We're not going to lie with you guys. There's a lot of controversy, especially with everything Nintendo's deciding to pull with Sword and Shield.
No, Game Freak, remember. Nintendo only owns 54% of Game Freak, so, you know, basically Game Freak works by itself. Like, Nintendo has little control over Game Freak.
Yeah, that is also true. So we have to keep that in mind. Like, Game Freak is doing this, and I think I'll let Gilberto say a little point that he told me when we were just hanging out one time, that he told me something about Game Freak. I don't know. You want to tell him what you told me?
Was he being lazy?
Yeah, like you said, like after, like, I don't know, you said something like after like all these years of them being successful.
Okay. We're past 23 years we've been getting the same game over and over again. Let's be honest with us. You know, you just put a little bit Pokemon, you know. I guess in Gen 6 they were like, man, this game a bit boring. It has some Mega Evolutions, you know, spice things up. And then, you know, they went to next generation, Gen 7. They were like, man, I don't think Megas were enough. So let's add Sea Crystals. And nobody likes Sea Crystals.
Right.
Now Gen 8.
We got rid of both of them, and now we put...
just make them bigger.
We just make them bigger. We basically get Godzilla battles. And I think this is kind of something that I think it's kind of evident when you look at the game sales and everything. Like if you look at things like this.
Don't fix it.
Yeah, like...
Don't... Yeah, it's like...
I don't know how to, like, personally, I think that's kind of the whole thing, because I'm going to bring up the game sales. Like, I have it all in front of me. So, starting from 96 with Red, Green, and Blue, the original sales were 31.4 million in sales. And then we had, also in 98, so 2 years later, we had Pokemon Yellow, had 14.7 million. Obviously, that's less than half, but obviously at that point,
it's the same game.
It was the same game. That's why people were like, it makes sense. We go to Gold and Silver, we see an increase to 23.1 million. And Crystal, I think in terms of performance, I think Crystal actually is no, it's tied. It's tied with one other one, but it had 6.4 million sales. And then we go into Ruby and Sapphire, which obviously was another generation. That was Gen 3. We get 15.9 million. Fire Red and Leaf Green, obviously in 04, was 8.3 million. And then we get Emerald, which was also considered part of the third gen as well, 6.4 million. Diamond and Pearl saw a shot up. So Diamond and Pearl did better than Ruby and Sapphire, I think, especially because that's when we were getting into the DS and everything.
Yeah, the DS.
Well, the DS was probably, because the DS still supported Game Boy, so Ruby and Sapphire were still Game Boy, and then we go into the DS with Diamond and Pearl. It was 17.7 million. And then Platinum was 7.7. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which I know a lot of people love those remakes. They consider them one of the best. Was 12.7 million. Black and White, arguably what people consider the least favorite gen out of all of them. A lot of people probably hated it. I thought it was neat. Was 15.7 million. And then obviously Black 2 and White 2, which arguably was a far better game than what a lot of people gave it credit for, was 8.2 million. X and Y, obviously the shift to the 3DS and 3D and everything with 3D modeling, was 16.3, so we saw a shot up, like, again. And then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, actually did pretty well as well. As a remake in 3D, it did 14.1 million. Sun and Moon, obviously the official start of Gen 7, was 16.1 million, and then Ultra Sun and Moon capped out at 8 million. So obviously we've been seeing a trend, like obviously like the games that seem to be like remakes don't really do as well as the original. Like each game that starts each generation tends to do the best out of all of them, usually. Obviously Red, Blue, and Green is still the #1 Pokemon game of all time in terms of sales. Number 2 would be Gold and Silver, which makes sense. A lot of people love the Gold and Silver and the whole concept behind it. But this kind of adds into the whole idea, like, and we're even going to talk about the competitive battling, because I think that's where me and Gilberto probably shine the most, especially with me, because everybody, if you know me, that
I stopped playing competitive after Gen 7.
Yeah, same. I think, especially if you ask me, like, anybody that knows me in real life knows I like to play games competitively. I always like to be as competitive as I can. With Pokemon, I was really good at it. I always liked playing on like YouTuber streams and everything when they streamed, and I'd usually win a good amount of the time. Obviously everybody was trying to get me to play against Shady and Pimp Knight and all those people, and I couldn't get a battle with them. That would have been sweet if I did. But obviously a lot of people thought I was really good at it because, I had a pretty good head for it. I was pretty good at thinking. But obviously I stopped playing because I actually didn't even finish Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I probably got like more than halfway through, but I'd never finished it. And then I sold my 3DS. But I think in total, it's kind of this whole trend of the Pokemon, especially because the 8th generation is a big switch for Pokemon. Clearly it is. We're not going to stand here and lie. We're going in. It's the first time that Pokemon will be on a home console. Clearly, main home console.
No, like main game, because spin-offs in other consoles.
Yeah, that is true. Like Let's Go Eevee.
64. You had a Stadium in 64. Coliseum in GameCube.
Yeah, Darkness Gale.
Battle Revolution in Wii.
Yeah, like you had all these, like never a main series Pokemon game on a home console. And some people will say, well, what about Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu? Those aren't really main games. Those were
those were spin-offs.
Those were clearly spin-offs. But they still did pretty well. Like obviously it introduced people to like the idea of 3D models of Pokemon on the Switch and everything. But the main game is what everybody cares about the most because it's what brings the most money. But even then, if you think about it, the Pokemon games don't actually make all the money if you think about it. I think Gilberto was mentioning to me like there was a stat that like broke down like the year and the revenue, and what was it like? It was like what, 20%?
Yeah, 20%. I mean,
so like
we lost this stat.
Yeah, we kind of lost it. We were kind of finding it, but I still remember some of the numbers clearly. Obviously the games were only like less than 15 to 20%, I think. So
Game Freak makes up like $1 billion a year.
Yeah, but sounds about right.
That makes sense because 16 million times 40, it's not gonna make $1 billion.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like obviously, there's still a lot. Like Game Freak. Obviously, yes, we also have to keep in mind that inflation and things like that. It was different because before 08, like 17 million in 08 or 30 anything that was before 08. Like 31 million before 08 is not 31 million right now. It was actually worth more in comparison. But it still holds the fact that, the games don't make up a large sum of the profit. A lot of the profit usually comes from merchandising and card games and etc. It comes from merchandising and cards, which makes sense. Like,
Yeah, like, who doesn't know Pikachu plushie?
Yeah, like, yeah, there's some people, like, you go to other places and you see like the merchandise sells like hotcakes. People like the plushie toys because the Pokemon are pretty adorable. Obviously the card games, a lot of people spend money on the cards.
You know why? Because you get different generation. Like it's like you can use past cards. You gotta buy like new ones.
Yeah, that's the thing is, since the game pretty much operates with cards, like nobody really needs to buy new cards. You can buy new cards if you want the Pokemon. No,
you guys buy new cards. You want to play like the current generation.
Oh yeah, crap. I forgot about that. It's not like
you can use like last year's cards. Yeah, they're worthless now. You can use them.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, they're not worthless. You can like resell them. They were rare, but like competitively.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like with that Charizard card, like that rare Charizard card that people like. That's like if you have a grade 10 version, it's like worth what, like $1,000+ or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd. Like, it's crazy. Like, people like collecting the cards, and obviously it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh where older generation cards still work and everything. It's a totally different beast. Like, we're not going to go into that, but you also have to keep in mind that most of the revenue is not coming from the games. The games are very popular, and the games are still really good. Like, we're not going to lie. Like, fundamentally and in terms of mechanic wise, the games are incredibly well made. Like, we're not going to stand here and lie, because every time they go to the Game Awards,
Josh, you got to explain how they're well made.
Okay, so let's explain how. Let me break this down at least. In terms of what they're working with, obviously, because remember, they're working with handheld consoles. These are very underpowered things that are...
Oh, yeah, no. Okay, graphically, okay. Are we talking about graphically or like mechanically, like how the game plays?
I think in terms of how the game plays, I think it's a formula that works.
The same formula each year, Josh.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But that's also another problem with Pokemon, I think, is the formula, it works so well, they don't want to try anything else new. That's why, like, Let's Go and Let's Go Eevee, when they did, especially when they even did Pokemon Go, like, people were like, hey, this isn't what we're used to. Like, people didn't like it. Like, it still did really well. I'm not going to... But that's what I'm saying.
You change the game, people get pissed. You don't change the game, people get pissed. Either way.
Yeah, like, either way, it's a double-edged sword. Like, people want, like, something new in the game, but the core mechanic of how the game operates and everything by turn-based and everything with moves, the 4 moves, nobody wants that to change. Obviously, some people will be like, the anime was... Well, that's different. The anime does not care about the game's logic. They said, screw the rules. Like, if we go by the logic...
How does Pikachu beat a Registeel?
Yeah, how does a Pikachu beat a Registeel? How does an electric type move affect the ground type? How does that... And this is even the strangest thing. How does Ash's Snorlax have 6+ moves? That says screw the game's logic. That's essentially what it did. And then you have this whole golden Pidgeotto thing. Like, anybody
you argue that, a shiny Pidge... Oh, I thought you were talking about Ho-Ho.
No, it's the whole thing. I think it was one of the older episodes that they did, like, Pikachu did a Thunderbolt on a Swellow, and then they turned it to, like, a golden Swellow that... It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's so dumb. That's what I'm saying. Never compare the anime to the games. It's not... The rules don't apply.
Ash not red.
Ash is not... Yeah, there's a lot of things. Like, that's... But if we go back to the terms of mechanics... Yeah, I think that's kind of a double-edged sword that we ran into, was Game Freak's like, hey, the formula works so well, we're still making millions of years, but if we change anything, people are going to be pissed. And I think they kind of back themselves in their own corner. The formula works so well that, they don't know what to do. That's why they include these things like megas, or they include things like these weird...
Yeah, these are, they add a little, but they don't change the game completely.
Yeah, think about it. Like, if you think about
like, game-wise, not completely, it changed everything, but,
yeah.
End game, like playing normally, it didn't change that much. It just added more stuff,
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to, too, was the whole idea of competitively, yes, it does change. When you add new Pokemon to the mix and everything, and you add new forms and things like that, or new evolutions, it's going to change it completely, because some Pokemon that were garbage end up becoming either in the tiers. Obviously, the tiers are PU, RU, NU, UU, OU, and Ubers.
That's not a Pokemon, it's called.
Well,
that's not Game Freak.
Well, Game Freak doesn't approve them, but everybody still refers to everything like that. We put them in tiers and everything.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yeah, like Pokemon, they have their own competitive tournaments and everything. Yeah. Let's be honest, it kind of does.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. I play a village. Did you see it now and then?
Yeah, like, people still play it. Like, the tournaments, people like the Pokemon tournaments. But obviously, there's a lot of tournaments that are, held in every country different ways. Like, there's, like, I think each state has their own qualifiers and everything. I know one of the YouTubers, like Mr. Fruit, he's going to be competing in the Ohio qualifier.
Is he going to play TGC or TGC?
No, he's playing the Pokemon games.
The games?
Yeah, like the actual video games. He's playing in the Ohio Regional. And I think it's interesting. But it also has to keep in mind, like, the competitive scene is a lot different animal, because obviously nobody, like, and this whole runs into like the toxicity and everything with the YouTubers, because obviously, yes, the Pokemon YouTube community can be very diverse. You either have, I'd say, some of the at least nicest people in my opinion, and then you got scum, and then you got.
It is like every community, like every fan base.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna stand here and lie. Like, it's like me and Rainbow. Don't join a Rainbow lobby and tell me how that goes. Gilberto can tell you firsthand how that goes.
No, because I can hear voice chat. Nothing with that.
Oh yeah, he can't.
I haven't fixed it.
Yeah, but like obviously a lot of things that come to mind would be
text chat though, so it's pretty toxic.
Yeah. Obviously, if we talk about I'd say like in Pokemon community, obviously. YouTuber wise, obviously you have like I'd say people that try to create themselves as like elitists, that the game should only work this way, and Realistify, I'm talking about you. Oh yeah, he's darn furries. People like him, obviously, and then
that furries, they're good people, and just single out Realistify because he's a bit of a jerk.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk. He's not a. Like, we're not trying to be mean to furries, but he's kind of a jerk. Like, he's not a good type of human being. He's kind of a scum. But then obviously you have people like, Shady and Jay Witz that are very positive influencers in the community. And there's also some people, like I said, we can't mention anymore because of a whole scandal going on with pedophilia and really bad stuff going on. Obviously they dealt with it, so the community handled it properly, I think. And I think everybody's just like, it's still, like I said, especially going into a new generation too, and like there's a whole lot of stuff going on clearly, but I think specifically with going with Sword and Shield now, I think making a transition to it as smooth as possible. Sword and Shield is going to be interesting. Like we mentioned, it's the first time the main game's on a home console, but there's a lot of stuff they changed. Like, biggest controversy so far is that they actually got rid of the national decks, right?
Well, Legendary wasn't in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I think that the controversy is that not every Pokemon gonna make it this time, and people are pissed about that.
Yeah, that's also the thing, is that people are pretty pissed about like a lot of Pokemon thinking that. Like, I get it, and I've even had this talk. Me and Gilberto were talking about this a little bit. Like, I think it was last week. That we knew it was going to get to this point eventually, that they were going to find a way to, cut some things out, because you're not going to like, if Pokemon keeps growing. Like I said, this is a very continuous game. 23 years of history. Every single Pokemon that has been in since the beginning of Pokemon is in Pokemon right now. Like, every Pokemon is there, like top to bottom, every single one, and it makes sense, like that you're not gonna. It's feasibly impossible to have a game that can maintain. Like, we're already at what we're pushing, like already 1,000 plus Pokemon already.
Yeah,
like,
1,000 plus Pokemon.
We're talking about like 1,000 plus models for every move. How these Pokemon do these moves. Like, there's so many things that I'm not gonna try to justify Game Freak with the whole thing of removing some mons, but I think.
It's because I think people are mad because the Game Freak excuse. You said like they give us high quality animations and high quality game, but we see the game and animations they're pretty not high quality. I was seeing this what was the name of the fire starter?
The what? The fire Score Bunny.
Yeah, he was doing double kick, and double kick was just the Score Bunny jumping in a JPEG of a kick. Like, how's that high quality?
Like, that's what I said is. I don't agree with Game Freak at all with this whole decision. Like, we knew this was going to happen eventually. Like, we know they were going to get to a point that they can't feasibly support all the Pokemon in a game. Now, do I think that they should have just made the designs? Yes, I think they should still make the 3D models and sketch like 3D models and the move animations for all the Pokemon. No, I think they should.
No, you're using the same models from the 3DS games.
Yeah, if they're just using the same models of 3DS and just updating them to look nicer, because the Switch is more powerful than 3DS by a lot. So I think reusing the models.
Kind of like saying like, Game Freak already has these models from the past Pokemon. Then you're not bothering, putting them in the new game.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are bringing up too, is that especially if you already have all the models from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they're the same models, and you're going to bring everything over, you already have majority of the models. We don't know how many Pokemon are being introduced with a generation. We don't. But if they do 100, like, you're only making 100 new animations. That's all you're doing. So, like I said, I don't agree with Game Freak. I think it was a really bad call for them to do that. Like I think they didn't help themselves at all by giving a bad, like, reasoning why, especially when you show off the game and everything. And it, like, you get what I mean? Like, you're basically lying through your teeth. I still think the game is going to look good, and I think it's still going to run well, obviously. Like,
I mean, look good. I don't know about that.
Well, first party Nintendo games on the Switch always, for some reason, run really good. They always do.
Of course, but the whole looking good.
Maybe, I think it
looks like an upgraded 3DS game. You're gonna lie.
Yeah, let's be honest here. It just looks like an upgraded. But I also think that's, that kind of leads into the whole idea of, like, Game Freaks being a little bit complacent and probably being lazy on stuff. Clearly, like, you ran with a formula that works for 23 years. You don't see a reason to improve it. Now, obviously, I get it. Nintendo's mindset behind graphics and everything is Nintendo doesn't... Game Freak, probably. But I think even Game Freak adopts Nintendo's mindset a little bit in terms of, like...
No, because, man, you see Breath of the Wild, man. That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is amazing. Phenomenal.
And you compare it to, Pokemon Sun and Sword and Shield, and you're like... it doesn't compare.
Yeah. Obviously, we know how Nintendo is with quality in games, like... That's the main reason why Samus 4 was canceled, because they're like, we didn't like how it looked. We canceled the project. Well, they didn't cancel it. They decided to start from new with the original studio, just start from new, waited for them to be available, and they're redoing it. So they just scrapped everything they had and just decided to make us wait longer to have a good game. And a lot of people are fine with that. Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out. I'd say 2020 or 2022, I think. Holiday, maybe if they decided to launch another Switch Pro or a Switch Pro or something, it'll probably be a launch title for that. Knowing Nintendo, they probably might do it. We have the next Xbox launching with the Halo Infinite. Sony is already saying Sony has bought another studio and things like that. But I think with Pokemon, it's going to be interesting. I think for sure, the whole state of the community, obviously after the whole incident things, everybody seems to be back to normal. Competitive battling is making a rise again, like in YouTube videos and everything. Like Shady's doing more competitive battling again. Obviously, Shady's been out of it for a while.
I think it was because, with all the bad things happening, people didn't like the crystals for Megas. And completely. And, it's very freak, taking them out and adding a new system called, what's it called?
Dynamax.
Dynamaxing.
And they said that they're, like, Hector didn't tell me exactly, but he said that there is another one based on the Dynamax. Huh?
Yeah, yes, it's called.
I don't think, we're not going to say, we can't say anything because some people are going to get pissed if we spoil anything.
Yeah, it's a leak out there. It's pretty, what's it called, believable.
If you want to see the leak, I would recommend you go find it for yourself. You can probably find it on YouTube, but we're not going to say it because, like I said, I don't know it. Hector didn't tell me. He just said that there is another mechanic. He didn't want to tell me because I told him I didn't want to spoil it. Gilberto probably didn't care, so he knows it. That's why he's about to say it, but I told him not to. But you get the point. They're doing something because obviously I get it. Megas made some Pokemon either viable, at least made them more viable than what they were, or made them break the game. Rayquaza, we're looking at you. Mega Rayquaza has its own tier for a reason. Because at this point, it's above Ubers.
And Free Crystal,
And Z Crystals obviously gave...
We're just a free kill.
Yeah, it was a free kill. Well, depending, like...
No, we'll use a free kill.
Nah, I don't think. There's some people that can... I think there's some people that can tank a Z Crystal. Like, if it's super effective, it's an instant kill. It's a free kill. If it's not effective, I don't think it's a free kill unless if it's a crit.
So, the whole... Megas and Z Crystal, just booked the competitive game.
Yeah, that's what they were. They were just mega game. They didn't care about... They had nothing to benefit the actual story. They probably played a role in, like, the lore of the story, but I think in terms of competitive was the one that benefited the most, but it's what pissed people off the most.
Yeah, and with Dynamaxing?
Yeah, the whole Dynamax, it's going to be fun in the story. It'd just be a little bit neat mechanic.
I mean, we don't know how Dynamax works. We know they boost stats, but... Or how much it boosts.
Yeah, like we don't know how much. Like we know that it lasts for like a short time, so it's
like
a quick
three
it's
turns?
I think in terms of, I think if we think about it in competitive, it's just going to be a comeback mechanic or a sweep mechanic. But feasibly it's impossible to sweep with it because it's only 3 turns. So feasibly, but it's definitely meant to be a comeback mechanic to get you back into the fight.
3 turns that can be like 3 months, you know.
Yeah, 3 turns can be 3 months. That's what I'm saying. That's the most you get out of it. You're not going to get more.
That's half a team.
Yeah, that's half a team, so it can easily change.
Pretty good.
It can yeah, I think it's still pretty good. Obviously, there's another one, but we're not going to talk about it. I think going into Sword and Shield, like the whole controversy, I think it's just in terms of generation wise, I think Gen 8 so far is the most controversial gen. I think we can agree on that. In terms of controversy, yeah, it's the one that definitely has the most controversy going for it. Can you agree on that?
Yeah.
And obviously, all we can do is wait and see. I'm pre-ordering the game for sure. I'm getting my copy. You guys know I'm playing it.
Like, to be honest here, like, everyone who's pissed right now, Game Freak, they're gonna be in line. They're gonna be in line. The release date.
I'm definitely buying it. I'll be in Lubbock. Well, it's November 11th, right?
Yeah, November 11th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Lubbock, so I'm gonna make sure I'm getting a copy because it's Lubbock. There's not that many people out there. But that's what I said. I think for sure I'm getting a copy. I'm not going to midnight release because I'm a college student. I'm not trying to wake up early in the morning to go get it. I'm not staying up till midnight to go get it.
I'm just download it.
Yeah, or you can just I'm probably gonna do that. The Wi-Fi is actually really good in Lubbock too. But I think overall, in terms of the state of Pokemon, I think Game Freak personally ran into an issue of you had a formula that works for such a long time, 23 years. But because it works so well, you end up with a double-edged sword. It's either if you change anything, people will get pissed. If you keep doing the same thing, people will get pissed. It's a lose-lose. I think it's a lose-lose, but obviously they're still making tons of money. Like Game Freak makes a ton of money. They're still making their money, clearly. Like all the money they probably spend on these games, they're getting them back. Obviously, Nintendo is lining their money with billions from Pokemon because obviously it's their second biggest franchise besides Mario. They're still getting all this cash from it. Obviously, we can expect that there's going to be a Pokemon. I think at this rate, do we think that there's going to be a Pokemon game every year or?
I don't know. Well, we had one last year.
Yeah, we had one last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's go Eevee and let's go Pikachu. Yeah. So I think
the game was so very cool.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We might end up getting knowing Nintendo's trend, they've been doing like these like they do like obviously like Sun and Moon, and then they did Ultra Sun and Moon. Black and White was Black and White and Black and White 2. Diamond and Pearl, and then Platinum because it was actually just a different. But you get what I mean. They've been doing the yeah.
Red and blue, yellow.
Yeah, they've been doing all this stuff for like a while now. So obviously, I think next year we might see another mainstream game. I think for sure that will be the end of Gen 8, or they might do another remake. They can either do a continuation of Sword and Shield, or they can do a remake. I think if we do remakes, Diamond and Pearl is probably the for sure remake because it's next in line. We've already had a remake for Gen 2. We had a remake for Gen 1, 2, and 3. Diamond and Pearl is for sure the next remake. Obviously, if we get a remake for Black and White 2, everybody's going to be like, bleh. I think it will look cool and cinematic-wise. I think it will look better with the newer models. But Black and White 2 had a really good story. I think Black and White 2 clearly, I think the whole story behind Ness and all them, or N and all them, and Team Plasma. It was Team
Plasma.
Yeah, all that stuff. It was a good story. And story-wise, it was one of the better Pokemon games. It's just nobody liked it because the Pokemons look like dog crap. Both figuratively and literally. But I think that's pretty much all we got for you guys. Like, I know... Oh, yeah, this is definitely one of the longest episodes we've had. Well, no, we definitely... I had a longer one, but... I think overall, that's all we got for you guys. I think we pretty much covered everything. Like, my opinion is... I hope you guys are still excited. If you're a Pokemon fan, I think Sword and Shield, you should still be excited. But obviously, like, I get it. There's still a lot of things. Like, we're still getting more and more info as we get close to November. So, we know they're going to show more stuff off because they always do that. Like, we still haven't seen the final evolutions and things like that.
Yeah, we haven't seen Red, of course. We haven't seen Red.
Yeah.
He's every generation.
He finds a way himself. Red always shows up. Like, for some reason, they always show up. Like, we still haven't seen everything, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, yeah, thanks Gilberto for coming on the show. I really appreciate having you, bro.
Oh, of course, man. Anytime.
He's just like,
anytime.
I know he's definitely feeling awkward, just like me. Trust me. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. I love you guys to death. You guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Happy. Well, by the time you guys hear this, it will already be past it. But happy 4th of July. You know, hope you guys enjoy the episode, and I'll see you guys next time.
Don't go too crazy.
Yeah, don't go too crazy, guys. Like, drive safe. You know, if you like drinking, don't drive. Just get an Uber, get a Lyft. Please don't do anything stupid. I love you guys to death. Bye.